Oh, man. All right. I think I pulled it off. What is up? What is up? Welcome into Husker Hangover. I am Matt Vrzal, kicking it with you on a Sunday morning, a victory Sunday morning, which is always good for our beloved Nebraska Cornhuskers as they continue to just buzz along here at now 5-3. Like 5-3. Yeah, 5-3. 8 got 4 left. Um, Survive, man. Survive in advance. Keep it moving. Do what they got to do to win. Not the prettiest thing you're ever going to see in a game, but they made it all happen. They made it all work, and it was great. I have no issue with the way anything went. Yes, I know they turned it over in abundance. I know that that was not what we were looking for, but that's the way it goes. And that's what it is. And this is the team that we are living on the edge. Hopefully, it doesn't end up biting us in the ass down the road here, but Nebraska able to beat Purdue. As you're watching that game and things are happening and it's going on and you're like, man, we are turning corners here. We are doing things the way they should be done. This is a good deal. Like, this is life is good. Okay. Life is the way it should be. Nebraska is doing things that we expect them to do. Don't forget to hop in the comments. There's a lot to talk about. I get it. Turnovers, line play, all those things. We can talk about all that stuff. Sorry about last week. Didn't have the best technology day in my life, but sometimes things happen, and that's the way it goes. Got to figure it out today. Feel good about myself. Got some things happening. Guys, we have messages out too to see if they want to come on the show. Jay Foreman has a message out. Eric Taylor has a message out. Matt Hoskinson has a message out. So if you want to help the show out, if you want to be a Husker Hangover Cure, tweet at those guys. Tweet at them. I think you have out at Outland 1997, at Hot Skurs 62, and at Foreman. I don't know what Jay's Twitter handle is here. We'll find out. Tweet at them or X at them or whatever we do now. I'm not sure what we're supposed to call it. I still call it tweeting. Yeah. Okay. I won't find that. Yeah. But hit them up. Let's get them on the show. Get their takes on some stuff. Tons of stuff to talk about. Johnny's on his bullshit already this morning. Listen, man, here's the deal. I know we didn't get to talk about Northwestern. It's how Nebraska wins does not matter. The fact that they are winning is all that matters because we just didn't win for so long. Like, we didn't know how to win. We didn't know how to accomplish that. Didn't know how to pull it off. And now, pretty ugly, things were going great in the first half. I mean, you're playing 3 quarters of football, nervous as hell. First quarter, right? Complete rock fight. Nothing happens. Thankfully for us on the defensive side of the ball, we are really good at the defensive part of the game, and we didn't have to worry about it. Tony White, as I've said on many an occasion, whatever you need to pay him, pay him. Whatever keeps him in your staff, on your team, pay him. He's earned it. He's taken parts that you already had and made them into a really, really good defense. Really good. They only gave up 7 points yesterday to a Division I football team. Like, that's an impressive feat. 7 of those points were given up by Nebraska's offense. Pay him. Show him respect. Not that they don't, but you want to make sure that guy goes absolutely nowhere. You want to make sure he is the happiest person that you've ever had on a staff that's ever coached for you, that's ever wanted to be a part of your organization. I mean, pay him, because there'll be a team that's at a higher level that isn't on a rebuild like you are. Me and this microphone are going to fight. That will pay him a lot of money. They will pay him an exorbitant amount of money to come be their defensive coordinator, maybe even some their head coach. All not good. All not good for us because he's a cornerstone that your program's built on right now. He's the highlight. He's resurrected probably one of the greater traditions in football, which is the black shirts. People have thrown the bones up for years, right, wrong, or indifferent. Um, yeah, man, you just got to take care. Look at how hard the defense plays. Look at the shit positions the offense puts them in, and they still play. They still play well. They do things as should be done. I mean, it just I can't reiterate enough that that's a guy you can't be without in an ongoing manner. People around Lincoln, people that see Tony White, make sure you acknowledge him. Make sure he knows you think he is great. Because the more he likes it here, the more likely he is to stay. And the better that's going to go for everybody. The better that will be. Um, I just I can't say it enough. I really it just that guy has to be a part of our ongoing organization and everything that it's about. I got some questions already firing in, and then we'll kind of just recap the game. Johnny says, "Do we know if Ed Foley told Satterfield to hold his beer before Snodgrass fumble on the opening kickoff?" I've coached special teams before. I love special teams. I think they're the best. I think they're super fun, and you get to do a bunch of stuff, and sometimes you just doesn't work out. It is what it is. Fred, we will have a great discussion about. Fred asks in the comments, what was your overall thoughts of the offense? We'll talk about the offensive line quite a bit. I got a message last night. Let's see on my Twitter account, as I have to switch back and forth on things now, which will take me some awkward time here. Ken asked me some questions. I told Ken I would go over some things there about what happened with Teddy Prohaskin getting guys back into the game and all those kind of things, and we'll discuss that quite a bit. The raise your hand if you thought me. Raise your hand if you thought as we got in the second quarter of that game. Okay. And there were people. Listen, if we score, I don't care how we score. Okay. I really could care less how the ball gets in the end zone. I don't give a shit. They can moonwalk it in. They can behind the back pass. They can Tim Tebow jump pass. It just gets in the end zone. Okay. They throw the pass to Fedoni down on the goal line. I thought it was a good play call, good ball fake, good execution, good throw. Harburg had the deep pass then to Jalen Lloyd. Great to see the young receivers getting, their love, getting into the end zone. It was sweet. It was real good. Third quarter was pretty awesome. Like as far as scoring, like this second and third quarter of the game, I was like, man, we may be turning, like this may be a turn the corner game. This may be really cool for Nebraska. 14 to Dick, things going good. Purdue takes advantage, of course, of opportunities we had given them. Block field goal, return touchdown. Awesome. And not an exact, Purdue did a favor, kicked it pretty low. That's fine. We blocked it. Ball goes flying up in the air. Jerry Judy, I believe, was who blocked it. Was flying up there, straight up in the air, forever and a day. Catch it, return for touchdown. With an escort, Tommy Hill, high five at the 5. That's pretty cool. That was pretty funny, actually. You could tell Quentin Newsom, he had mentioned that or thought about that, or maybe had done that in practice. Get down thin, and I'm like, okay, let's curb stomp. Like, let's really do this. Follow that up. Another huge special teams play, Albano, 55-yarder. Good enough to get an acknowledgement from a former NFL punter, kicker, Pat McAfee. Tweets out, just bomb. It was great. And now you find like the killers, right? Now you find, hey, we got foot on the throat. We got to handle this. We got to make sure our defense deserves a shutout. Our defense deserves to give up 0 points for this game. And unfortunately, that wasn't true. Those plays that where the breaks down, quarterback scrambling, we always seem to give up just a little edge where we allow the quarterback to roll right. Majority of your quarterbacks in college football are going to be right-handed. It's unfortunate that got out there, and away it goes, right? We twice it just we break down on that side. They're able to roll. It puts a strain on the defense, and we broke down and they score. Okay, no big deal. Then we get into it. I guess we felt we had it under control. Happy, Sims got in the game, whatever, trying to run out the clock. Fumble, return touchdown. Problem. But here's to me where it was different. Now I think there was another possession when Nebraska could be off there. Went out, didn't do anything. Purdue had the ball back, get a stop. Then you get the ball back and you break the long touchdown run. Kind of the backbreaker for Purdue. It was Emmett Johnson kind of got to shine. Probably the most well-blocked play of the game. Good crease. Johnson hit it. Purdue's in a position where they got to sell out to get stops and make sure that they get the football back, give themselves a chance to, kick onside and all that bullshit. But didn't happen. Nebraska gets the score. You win the game 31-14. Tons to take out and digest. Well, I'm going to continue on the defensive side here for just a little bit. I'm going to try to go to about 9:30, 9:45 today. We are in the playoffs for high school football. So I've got to get over to a meeting. Buttholes are a little bit puckered. The every step that you take. If you know a high school coach and they've won in the first round, you know that the second round meeting, I got a text last night saying, hey, by the way, meeting's going to start at 9. Get over there. Just whenever. I said, I'll be over after the show term. So we'll see what we got. Good question here by Patrick. As we look or continue just to talk about the defense and all the things that happen. Patrick asks, is it Tony White or is it the wealth of experience on that side of the ball? Okay. Tony, you're a listener. You know how this goes. Or sorry, Patrick, you're a listener. You know how this goes, right? I believe that thing is built from the line out. Just because there's been guys that have played a bunch doesn't mean that's going to make you good. I think the way that he's taught this defense, the way his staff has taught this defense is next level. He's taken guys we've had and we've all seen play. Well, even not even that. Like Huntmacher hadn't played a whole bunch. I think your other Ty Robinson has played some, but been hurt. Reimer, easily your most, high level experienced guy. Gifford, until this year, I don't think anybody's been overly impressed with Gifford and anything he's done. You've had questions at corner. I think the credit goes into this is just that they've taught this scheme in a manner that incorporates a true vision of a team defense. Very rarely do you see someone on Nebraska's defense try to make the selfish play, try to make the play that goes and gets me mine. They play as if I know where my help is. I'm going to make sure that as I go to make a tackle, that if I were not to succeed, that it is going to force them back into my help. and get the, it sometimes gets out on YouTube. If you can get the high shot, the high end zone shot, watch them fly. They all are flying to the football. They all are en route. They all are moving. The game you got really dominated in was Michigan. Michigan, sign stealing or not. Michigan, sign stealing or not, is the gold standard in this league. They are. We don't have to like it. It is the truth. They are three deep with offensive linemen and three deep with defensive linemen. And not just big ass bodies. They are agile, mobile, and hostile. But to White and crew, they really conceptually they've taught those kids how the parts all interchange. They've also taught them how to fix it themselves. You don't see a lot of coach. If you see the coach inside, he's yelling, he's pointing you and this. You don't see that. Okay. He knows that they have a great grasp of it. He knows that they fully comprehend what he is telling them. And the reason for the calls when they do decide to bring pressure, you rarely, how many times in the past, right? How many times in the past have we seen Nebraska's defense? And this is before this group got here. There's a blitz run or there's something where a coverage breakdown. There's nobody within 10, 15 yards of a guy before. Now there's always someone in vicinity. There's always someone near. You have gap sound blitzes coming and sound coverage behind it. And they play loose and they play fast. And it's what you hope you can play football in that manner. When you don't have to think or when you don't have to effort to do those things, that's what you want. They don't go out there and think, oh man, if I don't do this and this doesn't happen and I mess this up, blah, 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 blah. No. They're just out flying and they're having a good time. It's great to see. It's great to see. Football played in a manner where there's no thinking is awesome. It's fantastic. Hutmacher getting run that he deserves. He takes up two in the middle all the time. Leaves it free for whatever linebacker's in to run. Blaise Gunnarson's been with the program a long time. You're getting to see him play some now. Ty Robinson. Like I said, if we have another 5 technique type guy in our program, and you rotate Hutmacher and Robinson at the 0, at the head up guy, Nebraska's defense is a problem. It's a real problem. But if they can base their success on our defense is very good, you now have a better chance to win every game than you did before. Okay? Because you have to have something you can walk out on the field and know every day this is going to be good. This phase of our team, day in and day out, is going to be good. Okay? I know I can walk in and I can hang my hat on the fact that this is going to go with me wherever I go. It's huge. Because for so long we had none of that. We didn't have anything to hang our hat on. Yeah, we could score a bunch of points. Yeah, but we're gonna have a bunch of turnovers. We still have turnovers. But look at the difference. You still have a bunch of turnovers, but your defense goes out and bows their back and stands up to the challenge and says, hey, dipshits on offense, here you go. You gave it to us in a bad spot. We got a sack. We got them uncomfortable and got them to jump offside. We got the ball back. There you go. We didn't get, oh yeah, by the way, we didn't give up any points either. So there you go. You're welcome. If you guys could please just not keep giving it. Okay, give it right back to them. Great. Good job, fellas. Okay, let's work on this. You know what I'm saying, though? Like, you can take that defense anywhere. The only time you're going to be outmatched is with the elites of your conference. Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State. The elites are just better than you. They're more talented than you right now. But you have something that you can take with you ever. It's huge. I don't have to worry about this. I don't have to think about this phase of the game. It's awesome. So that's why I'm saying it's more the coaching side of it right now. Now, players buying into it is great. Players buy in, they play hard, they get after it. It's all you can ask. But the two go hand in hand. It's just the rebuild of Nebraska football is going to be built on the backs of defenders. It is. They do a great job. They should be applauded for it. We should all tip cap, follow them everywhere, do what they want. The wealth of experience, when you have shitty experience, it's not necessarily good. You have to break. Some instances it can be harder. You got to break a bunch of bad habits, and you got to get them. Defensively, or say what you want, about Foley and that. Those special teams, Snodgrass fumbles, unfortunate. We obviously have a huge issue with that. The Frank Solich, how to carry the football drills are out there on the internet. I may or may not have multiple dummy accounts, both on X and Facebook and other things. But with those dummy accounts, you have to build a dummy Gmail accounts. I may have sent those Frank Solich tutorials on how to carry the football on to some people at my alma mater. But it's got to be a focus. It's got to be. I mean, that's the dumbest thing you're ever going to hear today. You're going to hear today, at least. Like, no shit, Sherlock. It's got to be a focus. Walter firing stats at me, right? About, what is it? There we go. Walter was -9 turnover margin for the season, -70 since 2011 when Nebraska joined, -108 since 2004. It is. Here's something that gets me off a little off kilter. You've got to be turning the ball practice wise. You either got to be turning it over a bunch, or it's why our defense doesn't always have a whole bunch of turnovers in the game. I'll check a stat here real quick. I don't know the exact number if we even had. What was the turnover margin in the game? Did we even have any? Riveting listening here, I know. We had a pick late. Hill had a pick late. But outside of that, what else was there? Did we have? I apologize. I should know this, but it is what it is. There we go. Nebraska Fleeks. Anyway, the turnover margin, we had the one interception I know late in the game that kind of sealed it. We had another one too. What surprises me is that Nebraska doesn't get more fumbles. Okay. Fumble recoveries. So the shit part of the deal is in practice, Nebraska we're just not good at forcing the fumble, and that maybe causes the offense to relax some. It's like, oh yeah, we go against our defense. Our defense is good. We don't fumble against them. Then you get in a game with real dudes, and then you go, and then you are turning it over a bunch, and then it does suck, and it makes me want to punch things, and we can't do that because we're at work and we got people in half watching the game, half watching to see if you're going to freak out, and that's you being me. That point of emphasis, I think I think you have to, and maybe I've said it before, I think you have to instill team penalties for game fumbles, if that makes sense to you. Meaning, in the game, if you fumbled, like how many infinity fumbles ever we had in this game, got some of them back, got some return for touchdown. However many fumbles you have, throw a gasser on there, throw extra conditioning on there, throw whatever on there. We can steal from one of the greatest moves ever made, the program. We have more than enough footballs. Give everybody a football. You're carrying the football to class. Oh, meathead job carrying the football. Yeah, great. Tell the student body, hey, if you can get that out, I'll give you free tickets to a game. If you can get that out, you come eat on us at the training table. Like many things that happen in the sport. Until doing said task is as important as your next breath, it will not matter. And right now, do they want to fumble? No. Are they fumbling a lot? Yes. But you saw the two receivers. I think Jalen did it when he scored, but you saw them, it was smacked across their chest. If I carry the ball here, just like this, you cannot punch it. You cannot poke it. You cannot do anything to it, because if you want to punch it, you have to punch me in the back, in the arm, in the side. And that's just toughness. Heinrich, I think, Rule mentioned that T.O. said that the way Heinrich carried it was beautiful. It is. But you got to get everybody to do it. Possessing the football has to be number one. You don't have the rock, you can't score. Duh. But it's got to be as important. So I don't know how much Nebraska, coverage-wise, I think they're always in good position for picks, all those kind of things. But we probably got to get better at stripping it. Like and they should have a field day at practice as much as we dribble it on game days. But again, your defense did everything you asked of it, and it puts you in a spot to win. It's so impressive to me that with the depth that they have on their defensive line, that they are able to do what they do. And as that depth grows and it gets better, and you get more guys with experience, I just, that is why I'm so adamant that White has to be your guy. And I hope that he's a guy that knows he just loves being at Nebraska and being the best assistant coach in the country. Because some guys aren't built for head coaching. Maybe he is. The way he's taken the guys he has and he's turned it around, and they play great defense. Maybe he is wanting to be a head coach. I hope. He's like, man, I like it here. I got a pretty good gig. They pay me good. They appreciate me. They like what I do. Pretty awesome. I don't know. I hope. But man, what's been accomplished there is very impressive in a 1-year turnaround. As we've said, Nebraska just continues to chug along, doing their thing, and that 6-6 number right now. God damn it! All I wanted was 6-6. Okay, just get 6-6. This is gonna be awesome. All right, we're gonna go to a bowl. Everybody, the awesome Nebraska fans are gonna get to go and just party their face off, just party their balls off, and have a great time. Because God knows, we've been through some shit. And now they keep going, and like, son of a bitch, Michigan State's not very good. I'm trying to remain, I'm borderline stuttering, trying to remain, kind of like calm with this. I'm like, shit. A couple kids came in late last night, and they wanted food, but the kitchen was closed. They got a couple beers, and So we have a schedule up at Pisons, and kid goes, "You didn't put score in." I was like, "Hey, you go ahead, buddy, write it in. I don't give a shit." So he takes our marker, and he writes it in. He's like, "I can see 9." I'm like, "Hey, bud, let's just slow down a little bit, okay? Let's just get to 6. Let's go. Okay, well, we're gonna get to 6. Everything will be good." He goes, "No, I see 9." I'm like, "Buddy, don't fucking do this shit, okay? Don't make me look at this and then be like, I could see 9 too. Just like let's calm down. Okay. Let's pump the brakes." He goes, "At least 7. 8's very doable." And I'm like, okay, just relax. But he's not wrong. And if you imagine the fun discussions we get to have if Nebraska cleans up turnovers, if they clean up giving the other team the ball and free points. Imagine if they clean up turnovers and your defense, which they're good at, doesn't have to play back against the wall. They just get to play. What a different world you're in. Some good old time fans offensively. We'll transition to offense here. Offensively, when you can establish run, your young, speedy receivers benefit the most. Truth and reality, your tight end should benefit the most when you can run the ball. Okay. Because he's an inline blocker guy. He can fake block, sneak out. Week before against whoever the hell we played that I can't remember right now. Northwestern. Option fake. Safety's got to respect option. He's an alley runner. He's got to get through the alley. You now have one-on-one outside. Malachi Coleman, straight burner, speed dude, runs past the corner, little skinny post, touchdown. Jalen Lloyd this week, same deal. You're establishing the run. You're able to get yards running the ball. Play action pass. Jalen, those catches are hard and easy all at the same time. When you're standing out there by yourself, hopefully Harburg can get to the point where Malachi made a great adjustment on his because his ball was a little short, slowed down. He went over the top and caught it 2 hands, which is fine. He caught it. Jalen, ball had to turn just a little bit to get to him, but he got it. In the end zone we go. High and tight with the football. Touchdown. That's Nebraska's passing game. Nebraska's passing game is not a 5-step drop conceptual. Let's carve this baby up. Let's carve it down. It's not what it is. Okay. It is a play action pass game. The one on the goal line to Fedone. There's a ball fake, just a little quick out, arrow, whatever fancy term you want to call it. Great throw, great catch. I think Harburg throws it better than on the 5-step when he's off of play action because the read is easier. He's got to find one of 2 guys. So as you're building those plays for him, you build the deep threat. You build the one where you can chuck it down the field. Then you also build the bailout. And then if those 2 are gone, you make these decisions in split seconds. Those 2 are gone, then the ball gets thrown to the tuba player. You get outside the box, you chuck it up in the stands, somebody gets a souvenir. All those footballs that you make the running backs and the quarterbacks and the receivers all carry to school, to class, you got more than enough. Adidas will give you more footballs. Throw it up in the stands. That's Nebraska's passing game. That's what it should be right now. No more, no less. Easy. Simple. But now we're going to get into the meat of it, to the crux of it, to what I get a lot of questions on week in or week out. Walter, is that the kid out of, I think he's out of South Dakota? I'm not even gonna say his name. He would probably be offensive guy. Okay. Offensive line wise. Or offensively. Okay. Offensively, Nebraska. Oh, by the way, I don't know how much longer I'll be in this office. We're looking at an opportunity here. I might actually have a chance here before I might not be before the end of the season, but I'm going to build a different studio. So I have a little more room, a little more access to some of the things that I have that I would like to use, but I can't use because I don't have room for them in here. Because this is a very narrow room. As I built this little office too, made a big mistake. I'm not a summer guy, so I'm more worried about cool than I am cold. My insulation job on this office wasn't the best. It's just a tad bit nipply in here this morning, but it is what it is. Okay, so in the game, rushing yards, Nebraska went for 155 on 48 attempts, average 3.2 per attempt. Actually got beat in that category by Purdue, but some of those are scrambles where it breaks down and quarterbacks, those count as rushing yards, whatever. The biggest thing that I saw, and I got a couple people I worked with Teddy when he was younger that want to get after Teddy, and that's fine. He's a big boy, literally and figuratively. He can handle any kind of criticism anybody wants to throw at him. We still up front, we missed that very, very small range explosion. Okay. Explosion out of your stance where the contact with the defensive lineman is a jolting blow. I think the guys are plenty strong enough. I think they have a better grasp of destination, like where they're trying to get to. I think technically they get better every week. I know it doesn't always look like it, but the biggest area for improvement for me, opportunity for advancement, if you will, are those quick, short, fast steps. Like you have to, the analogy I always use, or what I tried to talk to my offensive lineman, be it in the summer workout or be it in the season, is when you get in your stance. Okay. If anybody's ever read Hogan's 5 Lessons to Golf, it's one of my favorite books. When I read it every year. I don't ever get to play golf, but I still read it every year. But Hogan talks that when he's in his address, he has a live tension in his legs. Okay. That's a phrase that I will use when I talk to my guys. At any point in time, I was like, you have to have a tension in your legs that is just an explosion. You can get in your stance and you can just drop your ass, put your hand on the ground and go. Okay. But you got to work to get yourself a tension in your legs that first step is as quick and as fast and as agile as a cobra strike. Actually, I do think Cobra Kai shirt on today. But that's the biggest thing to me is that live tension in your legs, that quickness, that jolt, that explosion in a short amount of space. It is not easy to do. You have to, though, work on the quickness. You have to work on all of those things. That to me is the lack. In regard to Teddy, Ken got after him pretty good on the interwebs. There's just going to be an acclimation period. I'll be honest with you. The kid hasn't played full games in a long time. Do I think he started to round out and get better by the end of the game? Yeah. Did he struggle initially? Yeah. You've had time off. I believe you've had surgeries on both shoulders, one knee, and a hip. It's a big laundry list. New system. You do have some carryover from Railo, though. That's probably not a valid thing. Got caught thinking a lot. Got caught uh, analysis paralysis. You kind of see the normal get off that he has when he's right. It's just a little lacking. It was, and that's the easiest way I can term it. Um, will he be better in the Michigan State game? I will say yes, because he's his own critic. He will pick himself apart, but he's also his own coach, and not in a bad way. He knows what he needs to do, and he knows how he needs to do it. So he will be very critical of himself in evaluation, and he will go fix a lot of those things in practice. If you had the vision that he was going to walk in and be the best on the field after all the time off, and they put him in the jumbo packages and those reps that he got there, it just wasn't reality. He will play in regard to the comment. He plays small. He will play. He will progress to play to his size. I think with the last 4 games we have in the bowl game, if we're able to win one of these 4 and we get to a bowl game, he will continue to get better week in and week out. But it's not something that you just walk back into and you're great at it. I would love to say you are. You got new parts. Like, you got new pieces. They don't all move the way they used to. Not making excuses. You see guys come back from injury and it takes them a while. It takes them some time to settle in. So I thought Scott, was a little more ornery than normal. Got into a little shoving match a couple times. I have no problem with that. Evans Jenkins, I tried to warn everybody early in the year that he's got the best feet on the team. He's got the best feet of any offensive lineman we have. He's got that wrestler's attitude. He will be a reason the stereotype of the 6'4" to 6'8" offensive lineman will be broken at Nebraska. So if you're 6 foot, 6'1", 6'2", 6'3", you're back in the mix. If you got sweet feet and you are a football player, you are now back in, because 51 for Nebraska right now is a kid that you can build some stuff on. You can do some good with what he has. Lutowski was in the game again. Will benefit from another offseason. Will benefit from an increase in agility, an increase in foot speed, and how he operates. I think there'll be a level of comfortability with calls and things. I think there are times where he maybe thinks a little bit too much. But when they can all get to a level of the foot speed that 51 has, they're going to be all right. It's a progress. Like, if we look at what we're rebuilding, right? The prior regimes, their offense could score, but it wasn't necessarily like a smash in the mouth, running the ball. Here we go. Blah, 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 blah. It was a little dink and dunk. We're going to spread it out. You just be in the way. We don't need you to move anybody. Just be in the way. And we'll cut off of you and we'll go from there. That's a hard way to earn a living, the way that the new regime wants to play. So those kinds of things, feet quicker up and down into the ground, using the ground to generate force. Those are all things that they have to get better at. Are there drills and things that they can do right now to get better at it? Yeah. And hopefully, Donovan has them doing it. Maybe you back down. And I think that's why I always preach about just limiting it to 6 plays. We've got 6 run plays we're going to run right and left. We'll just call it 12. And now we can get those mastered. We can get all of our rules where the rule becomes second nature. And then we can really get after it, right? So now here's how we got to get our foot speed back. I've got to get that torque into my legs. I've got to get that live tension in my legs where when I get off, it's an explosion. It's that guy, when I hit him, it's a jolt to him. His head snaps backward. My head doesn't snap backward. That's a big deal. Like that's something they can fix and they can do. Right. Um, Harburg running the football, like as we kind of progress away from that. If you have more offensive line questions, just send them to me. I'll answer them. I'm sure. Hello, hello. I think I'm back on here. Every now and then, this computer likes to just kick me off of the microphone. I think I'm back on it. Um, I'll go into the comment section now. If you guys got stuff, just keep sending them to me. Great way to cure. I think we had a fumbleitis question. Punishment at practice. And people say, "Oh, you don't have to punish at practice." Blah, blah, blah. Until maintaining possession of the ball becomes your top priority, then I can punish at practice. Starts out, I punish my position group. Right now, in this phase of the exercise, we should be punishing the whole offense. And then if we do it again against Michigan State, then I'm punishing the offense and the defense and the special teams. Because now you got to look everybody in the eye when you fumbled. I'm sure it gets talked about at practice. But I'm sure maybe that phase isn't being taken as that message isn't hitting home like it always does. And so now you keep doing it till it does. Till you ain't got the rock, you can't score. I mean, I don't. You'll find a button, you'll find a trigger in practice. You just hey, throw out some varieties of punishment. Put it on the ground. This is what you have to do. If he puts it on the ground again, this is what all of you have to do. If we put it on the ground again, this is what now expand it out. Every time it gets more and more. And you're going to find somebody, probably a defensive lineman, that doesn't feel he should have to run because you screwed up because he's already saving your ass every time you drop it. Then he's going to go have a talk with you and see if you respect him. See if you don't want to let him down. And that's how you extrapolate it out. It's got to be a focus all the time. Tim says, I feel bad for Sims. I'm sure he'll transfer, but where? His tape is so bad. Tim, his tape wasn't good when he came in. Tim, by the way, what did the comment mean when Mitch Sherman, I think it was the owner, when Mitch Sherman was at Pisons before the last football game, he was headed to watch Millard Southwest Side. Didn't appreciate that comment, Tim, but I digress. So Sims' tape wasn't exactly stellar when he came to Nebraska. He had turnover problems before, and we took a shot on him. So you knew what you were getting. Coaches are egotistical. Coaches have hubris. They think they can fix broken toys. Not saying that Sims is broken. He just has a propensity to fumble the football, turn the football over. That's the way it goes. We should start to really rebrand. I'm guessing they probably got to pay royalties. I was going to say just a red and white, just win, baby shirt. I'm guessing we'd pay the Al Davis estate quite a bit for that. Maybe just a win is a win. T-shirt idea before you're out there. David asked, morning, Matt. Do you think Nebraska would benefit from having an actual QB coach on staff? Satterfield was not supposed to be the QB coach along with the OC duties, but has been given the position due to the Rams coach turning down the position. I don't know the man well enough to know that. Some offensive coordinators love that role. They want to be in the room, and then you can see what the quarterback can do and how it all works out and what his skill set is, what he feels comfortable with. He was Satterfield, honestly, was a guy that a lot of the the old guys that I know had the most question about when the staff was being assembled. They weren't super stoked about that one. But like I told them, you're not the head coach. You're not hiring him, so either get in or get out. Quarterback coaches are, I think if you wanted to bring in a quarterback coach, you're going to have to find a way to retool what you have on staff because you can only have a certain amount of assistants. Um, for me, I think there shouldn't be a problem with that. I think he should have the clearest vision of what he wants to do with his offense and getting to work with the guy in control of that day in and day out, to me would be a luxury. To me, it would be something that would be pretty awesome. So I know what you're asking. I just think if that additional responsibility at practice and they have, GAs and assistants and that, if you get that person taught up and then you can go kind of check out what McGuire's working with on the receivers and what we're working with at tight ends and offensive line, kind of oversee your whole offensive setup. I don't think it should be that big of a deal. Yeah, for those that are on the just win, yeah, that's what it is. And this is if we don't turn the ball over, man, you can do some things. Kent the Barber says Heinrich, for whatever reason, has been tentative when getting tackled. He isn't delivered. This is something that's a good observation. This is something that plagued all of our quarterbacks for a long time. I was in the camp. I think they told Adrian, "Hey, don't get hit. Don't, nope, can't have you go out." Harburg in the open field as he runs. I would like to see more moves made. I would like to, he's got to have some shake in there. But when it gets into a one-on-one tackle, which should be an advantage offensive guy because the defensive guy's got a lot of pressure on him, we seem to get tackled more than we don't. We we get tackled in the open space a lot, just in a one-on-one tackle. Um, I'm fine, my meathead nature. I'm fine if he trucks somebody and tries to run him over. I'm good with that. Um, I would say there's probably some hinting like, "Hey, man, uh, we kind of have to have you the rest of the way." So if you can just get down. Now, I will tell you this: Coach Walters at Purdue, his hate for Nebraska from back in his days at Colorado is very real. Pads are popping in a game when I'm sitting at the restaurant and it had calmed. We got all of our carry out stuff. The people were sitting home, staying warm, watching the game at home. So I got the chance to sit down and start watching. And the first thing I do is I sit down and I don't know who the hell got hit, but Purdue safety linebacker, somebody just came a helen. I mean, just a helen. And I could hear the crack on the TV. And I kind of just like, oh shit. I hope we were the hitter there because that one did not sound good. Uh, they're in it. And they were bringing the lumber, and for a bunch of nerds, they were hitting like that. That was Nebraska will have some guys sore today. That was a physical football game, and it was pretty cool. Like, I'm not gonna lie, because the Nebraska kids, as it went, kind of started to get pissy, and they kind of started to get shovey, and they kind of started to get lippy. I was like, all right, here we go. You've got it in your mind. You don't want to get hit like that. You don't like that, and that's always a question. Some guys will get rocked, and then they just like good hit, and they walk away. A couple guys got rocked up and started jaw jacking and get like almost like getting a number. Like, okay, I'm gonna get you. I'll be back. So that part I liked. Like that was. I will tip my cap to Walter. They were flying around. I mean, they were moving. Old school guy from Malcolm back in the day, Christian Bandiola says they carry the football around. I think you have to. I think you have to do something. Wyatt asked to be. We're just kind of buzzing through the comment section here. Wyatt asks, to be honest, if that was the case, our defense wouldn't look near as good, but that's a good thing. I'm not sure what Wyatt's referring to there. Johnny asks, are you going to Vegas if Nebraska makes the Vegas Bowl? The prognostications, and again, I shouldn't talk about it because I am a superstitious person, but somebody was telling me it could be Detroit or Vegas, and I'm like, oof. All due respect to Detroit, I've been there. It's very nice, and the Greek town is awesome. It's very fun. Went there with the nephews for an uncle nephew baseball trip. I'd go to Vegas. That would be a lot more fun. I don't know yet, John. We'll have to see how the rest of the year goes, but I Vegas better prepare themselves if they do. For Timmy says, how about Butler tackling the RB and the QB at the same play? We do. We got some guys that are starting to evolve. I'm super excited for these last four and potentially a bowl game because you're going to get to see some of the young. You're going to almost like an honorary, like tip your cap to these guys that have played all year. So, hey, man, you made it. We can get you some help now. We've got some young guys that have been just practicing only, and we think now they're to the point, we're not going to lose their red shirt, so we can continue to build this foundation. We can continue to do what we've got to do. And now we can get you rest so you can stay fresh and you can stay. I'm super excited for the last four. And it lines up pretty nice. You go to Michigan State, who got beat by Minnesota. Walter let me know that they are -7 or -9 in turnovers for the year, so they have no problem giving it away. We also have no problem giving it away, so that might be interesting. Then Maryland at home, who lost to Northwestern. There is no transverse property. Just because we beat Northwestern and Maryland lost him doesn't mean we beat him. But they are the things that I like in that game with all this cold coming in. Cold game, you're going to make Maryland maybe do some things they don't want to do. I know Loxley likes to take the top off of it, but he's an Alabama guy, or was at one time an Alabama assistant, so he knows he's got to be able to run it. So that one will be interesting to me. But then you finish that Wisconsin at home against Iowa. If your young guys get in and get you depth and keep you fresh, it's huge. It's really huge. As I said a couple weeks ago, put them in, and if they go in, it's a no fault. It's a no loss. The worst that can happen is that they go in and they're good. And you instantly create depth for yourself. You instantly create depth. It's awesome. What a great opportunity as you build. If you look at the history of Rule and his rebuilds, year one for the rebuilds of programs that he's taken over, not good. It's like a 1-win year. We won 3 games in a row for the first time in decades. So I mean, you legit are playing with house money right now, and thankful for the conference we're in, because outside the top 2, nobody else is a world beater. Honest. I've talked about Wisconsin, and they're I don't know why they wanted to change what their offense was. Like I said, I'm thankful. Everybody they used to talk to, I would go talk to when they're fighting these mutant linemen. I mean, this is setting up very well for Nebraska if you protect the football and you play great defense, which is how, and run the ball. That's how you win on the road. And there's a lot of people in the camp like, oh, they know we're going to run this now, and they know we're going to run that. That's okay. You still have to stop it. And if Nebraska can get that quick twitch going a little bit in the offensive line and get that explosion out of stance and you move, I think we've torn down Grant enough from a coaching staff aspect. Time for the buildup. The kid is a great talent. The kid is very good football player. We just have to stress the importance of ball security. Not everybody learns at the same rate. Not everybody learns the same way. But if he gets that, he makes some of those errors in the offensive line look much better. He's that kind of guy. The Johnson kid showed you if he can get through a hole, if you give him a crack, he will get through it. He will go. Again, if you didn't think Purdue knew that was coming, it's a 4-minute drill. Like, oh, these guys got to run the ball, they got to hold it, and they got to make sure they burn this clock off. It's a well-blocked play. Got through a crease, housed it. Legit put the game on ice. It's good. But your identity is starting to evolve on what your team is. Team's going to be built on the back of the black shirt tradition. I'm good with that. Now the offense has to establish its identity. Can we go out and run the ball against everybody? That's the next challenge. Once we establish that we can run the ball against everybody, now we can go to play action pass. Thomas Fedoni becomes a lot better option for us. Coleman, Lloyd, Doss, I think it was. I like that little guy. Mix in some things with Fleeks every now and then. Hopefully Billy Kemp comes back. Now you've got a bunch of different things, all still based off of play action pass, establishing line of scrimmage and running. As Rule said, there's nobody on our schedule we can't beat. There's also nobody on our schedule that we can't lose to. But you have to go out and you have to continue to evolve, and they are. The progress that has happened through this year is, and again, the roster, like, yeah, there's new players in there, yeah. But a lot of the guys that are contributing and are the main focus of this are guys we've had. They're just playing in a different manner. Cheesy and cliche and coach speak as this is, they still play for each other. And that's in the ultimate team game. In the ultimate team game. Any other sport, anywhere, you can have an individual take over and it can go different. Basketball. That's all basketball is. Clear out, one-on-one, shoot off balance three. I've shot 8 million of these. They go in. Baseball. Pitcher goes in, gets hot, shuts everybody down. Hockey. Goalie stands on his head, can take another team completely out. Football, I've got to have all 11 all the time. And their success has to be more important than mine. Because if I do something outside of the realm of what we're trying to accomplish, either offensively, defensively, or special teams, I screw everybody. I don't get mine. I cost us. Right? Should have not thrown that parentheses out there. But that's why the game's awesome. Wyatt says Purdue's quarterback passed at a 50%, 16 for 32, so it's not like these passes weren't there. Those receivers had a bunch of passes they could have got. Yeah, they did. They dropped them. Could have been for pressure, ball not in the right spot. You know, they do some stuff. I tend to focus on the fact they did drop them, which falls under not my pig, not my farm. You dropped them. That's the way it goes. Teddy got a John says Teddy got in the way. That's improvement over Nebraska was running out there before. Johnny's not a fan of some of the tackles at Nebraska. How is the foot speed of some of the guys that aren't playing? Sammy Sledge. I am team Sledge. I the only thing bad about Sammy Sledge, I think he's got number 62, which is Fat Hoskinson's number. He won't return my phone calls in the morning or text, dickhead. Just trying to get him on the show, have a little fun. He's probably polishing his bald spot at home. Uncle Fester Taylor doesn't respond either, so fuck him. Foreman, I think, is trying to get into my market and do some shows in Lincoln in the morning. Sledge is an athlete. Okay. Sledge was a tight end at prep and then slowly worked his way down onto the inside. He's an aggressive kid. He moves really well. He's what we want to pattern it as. Okay. He was somebody that they targeted early, not on the leg, not because he's a legacy. They knew he was what they want their lineman to be. Now, a cool thing of it is, me personally, I don't think Gatula's ready. I don't know. I just don't think he's ready. He's a little slow footed. He could help. He could need foot speed stuff. Down the road, he'll be good. But right now, I think Sledge is your most ready made. Knutson's probably in the same camp. The reason why I would probably think Knutson would probably flash more for you initially, he's just a mean son bitch. He don't give a shit. He's yeah. I mean, you could see, like, he could go in his first play and get in a fight and get ejected. Like, he's just a mean kid. And that's great. You got an edge, you got an attitude. Cool. Now we got to get you physically a little more sculpted, a little more quick footed to go at it. Everybody pissed off at him in high school because he stomped on a kid and then whatever. The reason he stomped on the kid is because the kid kept diving at his knees. Like for those that have played offensive line, you know when a person is trying to execute a block and you know when a person is trying to harm you. He gave fair warning. He said, don't do that shit. If you do that shit, you're not going to like what happens. Little buddy tried it again. Little buddy got stomped. That's mean, and it was. And, you got to learn your size, and the kid didn't die. He's still alive. I guarantee you this, though. He ain't going to cut nobody bigger than him no more or try to take their knees out. But yeah, I would see Sledge. Now that leads into a cool setup. You've got a couple diamonds in the rough in the state. I think they're both 25 class kids. I got to look up one name. One is Trent Patzel. Trent Patzel is up in God's country. He's up in Albion, Nebraska. He is 6'7", and he can move. He can really move. Like, he has the foot speed. He has the thing that you are looking for. Good part about him is his frame. He's got a building frame, I think, is what it used to be referred to back in the day. The evaluation of Nebraska high school kids There's a lot on Sammy Sledge and Knutson and Gatula and these guys' shoulders. If they go in and they're good, you're going to see like a lot more Nebraska offensive line kids get more attention. I'll be square with you, regardless of where you're at. It's a hard state to evaluate because I think the line I used in last year's state championship game as I made the broadcast, you've got one school cultivating talent from all over the city. I'm guessing pretty soon to be all over the state. But Nebraska offensive linemen, if you have a vision and you can see them and you look at the things like, can he move his feet really good? Yeah. Okay. You got the Patel kid in Albion, and then you got a kid by the name of Ren Brown and Stanton. 6'6", 250. Right. So if we go on the time machine, we turn ourselves back, T.O. and those guys would take, and Coach Tenneper and Coach Young would take these guys and like, yeah, this kid he's 6'4". He weighs 240 right now. Plays basketball, plays football, plays baseball. He plays all the sports. He's athletic. We see him becoming 6'4" and 280, 290 as a big athlete now. And so we can do all these cool, we can pull him, we can make him athletic, we can do everything we need. They have a vision for it. And that vision, usually was a 2-year vision. But you can go and you can get these kids on a 2-year vision platform and look at it and say, listen, he can move, right? And all this stuff, you can go on Huddle, you can see it on Twitter, Patzel, Patzel, and Brown, Brown, Ren Brown. Go watch it. Go watch them move their feet. Now they are highlight tapes, and they are the bully. They are the big kid on the field. But if you're blessed with God-given size, you have to get yourself to Nebraska's camp. They want to see you in person because they feel their eye is finite enough that if they see you in person and you impress with those intangibles of things that I see just as an old former guy, then now you can get an opportunity. Your opportunity is a football camp away at Nebraska right now. But if you don't want to go, then don't think that's going to happen. The Pieform kid is back on the market at Central. Okay. Decommitted from Illinois, probably in discussion with Nebraska. Hopefully they can get that. He's one too. He's probably a year project. Comes in, he redshirts, all the natural gifts, all of them. Feet got much better from junior to senior year, like night and day different. Credit to whoever helped him out with that. Got a little nasty in him, got all the size you want. I'm not saying all of the kids that you're going to rebuild your pipeline with are Nebraska kids, but the ones that are there, and if you have an eye, and I like the farm kid because chances are they know how to work and they know how to get things done and they know how to take constructive criticism. They ain't going to get in their feels. That you can call them motherfucker, and they're just like, yep, my dad and grandpa have called me much worse, sir. Best of luck to you. And they are blood relatives. You are just my coach. So you cannot hurt my feelings. Tell me what you would like me to do. So it's honestly, it's a pretty cool time. Because as they continue to win and this continues to evolve, and you can continue to have Nebraska kids be pieces of this. Luke Gifford is bought into this defense wholeheartedly. I did not think, I was skeptical, to be honest. But that kid's at peace with this thing. He flies around. Led the team in tackles again, and they get 10 total. He was 6 unassisted, 4 assisted tackles, but feels comfortable with what he's doing. And credit to him. I did not think he could play that way. And he does. And honestly, he's kind of the leader of that joint. He really is. Not saying it's all got to be built on local kids. But when you get the local kids in, it matters. The guys from out of state, you can teach them the tradition. the guys from in-state, even through the 20 years, even through longer than they've been alive. A grandpa, now a great grandpa, dad, an uncle, they'll tell them about the way it was. They will. So it's a great opportunity. There's some diamonds in the rough just sitting in the state. Just got to get them a shot. They got to go to camp and you got to impress. We'll see what happens. Brandon says, why on initial contact door guys have such thin bases versus wide hips and duck walk into sustained blocks? To me, the reason some of this happens is if I know I have quick feet, okay, think of boxer feet. That base stays wide. No, boxer is wide front to back. Football is wide left to right. But their feet are so quick in the motion of it. When I know I feel I'm slow footed, they haven't fully learned yet to trust an angle they create. Okay. They think that getting that base narrow is going to help them propel force into the defender. When in reality, a fast-footed, wider base. Now, I do think pad level gets high sometimes, and that doesn't help. But my left shoulder is shorter than my right shoulder. Just because this was the one, if I could get wide base 2 steps, I was going to hit with this one. But it still works good. But that's why that's a great observation, Brandon. But that base staying wide and fast feet, right? Right now they're in the mindset if I have to go fast, I have to be in a runner's position. As where if I go quick, I can stay wide like that. Like that's what it is. It's when you get narrow, you get thrown. When you stay wide, now you can get your hands on, you can get locked out, and you can do a little bit more. Where was that other one down here? Sorry. Walter's already on the Colorado next year. Walter says, oh, here, Wyatt, clear this one up for you. Just stating that for offense was actually able to hold on to the ball and put Purdue in bad field position. Okay. Our defense wouldn't look as good since they don't have to stop teams in the red zone. Okay, I got you. Okay. So then I got to read that again. Just stating that if our offense was actually able to hold on to the ball and put Purdue in bad field positions, our defense wouldn't look as good since they don't have to stop teams in their red zone. I think that defense can play anywhere. I really do. They gave, it's a game. They're going to give up a couple here and there, but man, I'm on the. If we could not turn the ball over and play the field position game, I think that defense has a chance to be better because the pressure put on to not have to be almost borderline perfect is tough. So yeah, that's an interesting point. I'll think on that one some more. But I would think if we can get somebody pinned back where that defense can just attack, I'd love to see more of it. It would do wonders for my blood pressure. It really would. Oh, you suckers that bet the under. Bet the over. I won. Walter says, forecast for East Lansing is low 50s, cloudy, 12 mile an hour. It's perfect. Take it. Football weather, baby. We're there. Sean, you're going to have to elaborate. I didn't see the. Okay, here we go. Some people have some things to say about Nebraska. Robinson said Purdue is not the only one. Come find out. Here we are. A lot of us took that personal. It wasn't supposed to be anything like that, but they made it that way. So we wanted to let them know, all right, you're in our house now. This is what you've got to go against. Let's see how you manage. This was something, right, that we're all fans. We all know people that are fans of other schools in Big Ten. Iowa guy will still tell you, I took a cheap shot at our AD. our AD at Scud is an Iowa guy. And so I texted him. I said, Kaz, serious question. And I just left it. Of course, Kaz he's thinking something's wrong with football or whatever. And I was like, do the points that the women's basketball team scored at Kinnick count toward Ferentz's point total for the year? I really need to know this because I would like to have him stay as your offensive coordinator. And he just sent back November 24th, 2023 or whatever. Da, 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 da. But we've all had shit talked to us. They were getting shit talked to them in prior regimes, and they just fucking took it. Now they don't have to take it. They don't want to take it anymore. It's the scale, right? I don't even know if I have a Sharpie here. I don't have my other camera set up. If this is the fuck around level and this is the find out level, somewhere those are going to intersect. You want to fucking talk crazy in the game? Go ahead, talk crazy. Eventually, me and you're going to fucking meet. Shit happened on Friday in our game. That's the way it goes. You can run your mouth as much as you want. Go ahead and do that. It's going to piss somebody off eventually. We got to meet. And Nebraska can back it up a little bit now. Iowa fans still tell you, oh, we still got 7. You only won 1. You ain't nothing. You ain't shit. Okay. We'll see. See how it goes. It's awesome. Like, that makes me so happy. Because when you start to take shit like that personally, now I don't have to question if you care anymore. Because for a long time, I think we all did. No, we want to say it, but you question if they cared, which is hard. I don't question now that they care. Because when you let people talk crazy about you and you don't defend yourself, you don't care. But you won't go run your mouth. We'll find out. See it 2:30 on a Saturday. Memorial Stadium. We'll figure it out, boys. Don't you worry. Love it. Absolutely love it. Makes me so happy. Can't stop smiling. Because they're saying enough. Yeah, you won a couple. When we were at our lowest of lows. We're not there anymore. New sheriff isn't quite in town yet, but he's at least on the horse headed to town. Oh, makes me so happy. Just wish we weren't so PC. What you done if Ty Robinson just got up on the microphone and was like, fuck you guys. You heard what you said. Oh, God. There's no way I could ever be an SID. Like, hey, just say it. I'll take the heat. Walter, I think Sledge will be at guard. I think Sledge will play some guard. John says focusing on player and player development has made Nebraska great back in the day. The staff seems like they can do it. The last staff folks a little too much on video games. God damn it, John. God damn it, I got to read all those first. Shit. Okay. Yeah. They know what they are, right? They know how they want to get into it. They have a vision of what their guy. The part that I probably like the most about them is they're patient. They don't get worked up about a whole bunch. Can you see frustration in them? Yes. You can see them visibly frustrated, holding back, bussing everybody. Just like, oh man, I would love to just, I think a great, oh shit. Ladies and gentlemen, we have pulled off the impossible. Joining us on Husker Hangover, the pride of Wichita Falls, Texas, Rider High in 1997. No, you're not on screen yet, dipshit. They can't see your hat. The 1997 Outland Trophy winner, my good buddy. Somebody that I will forever be grateful for, the one and only Aaron Taylor.
Why didn't you put me on screen yet, Verse? Look at that. Rider High, baby.
Yeah, I know. Rider high, we got it. Rojo, right on, honorable ones.
That's right. That's right.
You got to get your microphone, buddy.
Why, you can't hear me?
Can't. Dude,
I did the whole testing thing.
this is too much trying to figure out technology. All I have to do is put you in the studio. That's it for me. You're good.
You can't hear me at all.
Well, at least there's Aaron Taylor's picture. Yep. You're going to try to reconnect. We can all have a good laugh at that one. But anyway, to be behind the scenes, like great auction item at any Nebraska function. 5 minutes behind the scenes meeting coach's office after a game. I guarantee they can get in there and you hear like, oh, they can hear him. They can just be like, son of a fucking bitch, this kid could do this, this kid could do that. Okay, we're gonna try it again. Evidently, they could hear you, Aaron. I couldn't hear you. So
my mic's working, everything. Can you hear me now?
You're just gonna have to talk for a little bit because I can't hear you. Hold on.
Well, what are we going to talk about, Verse?
Keep talking.
Testing 1, 2.
Yeah.
We did this before
All
the
right.
season started,
When
Vrzal.
you talk, just don't mumble because I'm gonna have to read your lips because I can't. Evidently, the people can hear you. I can't hear you.
We're not going to do that.
Yeah, we have to do that. I'm really good at this. My grandma was deaf. I can read lips.
Pull your headphones off. Can you come over your computer speaker?
Give me a 3-4 minute synopsis of what you thought of the game.
That's what we're going to do.
I
That's
can't.
what we're
I
going
can't
to
hear you.
do. Let me log all the way back in. We'll see if
Hold
we
on.
can do this.
You keep talking.
Testing 1, 2. Verse, can you hear me?
Oh, I got you now. I'm a tech
You,
wizard.
you got me now? We did this eight weeks ago, and you're just now figuring this out.
Well, no shit, and you won't come on the show.
Oh, I've been hungover, Verse.
That's the
Been hung like for real.
You've been boozing quite a bit. What have you been doing?
No, well, I last week we took a bus down. That wasn't good.
Why not?
Oh, it was all day. It was all day. It was fun though. You didn't have any responsibility of driving, finding a place to park. Aaron Graham joined us on the bus, so that was good.
Aaron Graham?
AG 54. I had to hear all about him.
Oh, he's probably gotten a lot better.
Yeah, he's done good. He's done good. Actually, no, it was a fun time. It was a fun time. He
So what was this, like some kind of famous Husker trip?
No.
Oh, so I just didn't get invited. Thanks, man.
You're always too busy. You get invited to everything.
So
yeah, and then a few weeks ago,
Taylor, I probably would have closed.
Yeah, no. Then a few weeks ago, we were down in. Well, you knew that we were down in Texas, bringing parent stuff back from the storage units down there. So yeah, it's been kind of busy, man. But that's all right. I'm here with you now.
You got kids and grandbabies too.
We got a lot of them.
Yeah,
we got a lot of them.
Weddings and
yeah,
suited and booted a little while
back. Yeah. Well, it's even like yesterday. So Emma had her last volleyball game. She had a tournament. And so I ended up watching the game at TVA.
Okay.
That volleyball place. That was nuts. That was absolutely nuts. Tanya was worried about me. She said, "There's way too many kids screaming in here for you." So, but yeah, it was good. So, as far as watching the game, it was kind of hit or miss. It was. I'm gonna have to. I record them, so I'm gonna have to go back and watch it today because I'd like to see the way the line played because it seemed like there was some improvement. Honestly, I don't know. I saw some movement up there, and I saw some plays that I liked.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I can't comment on too much because I saw some movement on that left side with Teddy and the kids escaping my
Evans Jenkins.
Yes. I was going to say Jenkins, but
I called for Evans Jenkins way early in the year. Like his feet are good.
Yeah, he seems pretty nimble. He's kind of built like us, Spurs.
Yeah, he's about 5'11", so he's taller than you, shorter than me.
Yep, yep. So,
He can move.
but yeah, it seemed good. I still wish we could run the option a little bit better, hold the ball. I don't know. It's kind of those. I go into every game thinking it's going to be ugly. It is ugly, and I'm happy with the win.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And I know, though, to help them with the option, hit them with the first part of the option.
Fullback trap.
Just give the fullback the fucking ball.
Right.
Because you got to
Right.
keep, if they know you're going to run option, and they also know the fullback is not a threat, why am I going to designate anybody to stop him?
Right.
Give him the ball. Now you keep him honest. That linebacker can't fly over the top. The safety can't fly down. And now you got a viable, and you might break one. Maybe they're saving it for Iowa.
They might be, right? I don't know. It's it's such a tough play to run consistently, right? I mean, how many times did we practice it during practice throughout the week, right? And compared to what they're probably doing, because it's not their main part of their offense, but it is fun to see. It is fun to see. I wish Harburg would take it. You remember the coaches drilling the QBs of, hey, you run straight at the pitch, man. That's what you do. And how many times would you see a Tommy or a Brooke or a Scott or an Eric, turn it up right at the last second before they got to the pitch man, right?
Yep.
Or that last second pitch. There wasn't much space between that pitch man and the QB when you run that option right. But I like it. I guess the only other thing that I would say is we're running some counters. Those are fun to see. The options are fun to see. If I was Rayola, and you'll see it, it's kind of sporadic with these linemen. When they get out in space, they get to pulling. It's like sometimes they're dialed in on who they're going to, and it looks good, right?
Yeah.
It looks good, and they're going to go make the block or at least get in the way. That's all you got to do is redirect somebody, right? You don't have to make it look pretty. Just redirect a defensive player, and then the other half of the time, it's uh, I always say this. Remember Charlie McBride telling Larry Townsend, "You look like a bear running in the woods, trying not to make any noise," right? And you'll see some of these linemen kind of running out there and I don't know, like tiptoeing, trying not to make any noise. Yeah, exactly. And so, um,
Charlie was
you
in
know,
last week with
was
Jared.
he
Oh yeah,
Jared? Yeah.
fucking great. It's always
So
good.
yeah, it was kind of one of those things, right? It's like, hey, if you're going to pull and get out of space, and even if you and this is you got to do it time and time again, right? Even if uh, your defender that you're supposed to block isn't where he's supposed to be, and you're not quite sure on who to take, go find somebody,
Yeah.
right? Go find somebody and go find somebody fast. And then another thing I was thinking about too, Verse, when I was watching this. I don't know about um, the rules in college nowadays, but can they get out there and can they cut those guys
Oh yeah.
out on the second level? Is that still legal?
Ooh, shit. I don't know. Johnny will know. John Johnson did. Find out if that's legal. Can you cut the second line? I think you can.
Whenever when I pull around there and I got a scraping linebacker, right? So I pull around the end and I've got a scraping linebacker. Can I go down and can I chop his knees? Not from behind, it's from front, right? You're not doing.
Just put shoulder and thigh.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And because there were a couple of plays where um, I'm looking at that and I don't know. I think if I was coaching, I'd have him cut, right? Because I want that linebacker getting off the ground, 40 times a game.
Yeah. Cutting cutting is allowed in the interior. I don't think you can cut linebacker anymore, but it goes back to something that I think is not versed enough to get. Everybody wants to be right. Okay. I would rather have you going 100 miles an hour and be wrong than go 50 miles an hour and be right. In your example of them pulling around the corner, they're Rob Zasking it Like, I got to get around the corner. And I have to get that guy. Have to get him. Like, well, sometimes that guy has gone at a different angle that you cannot get to. So just keep fucking going and hit the next guy. And hopefully your back can make that guy miss. If he doesn't, just be like, hey, man, I'll get it next time. I got to fix my angle. I got to change it. I got to da-da-da-da.
I got to get deeper, right? So sometimes on those counters, so I saw Ben Hart pulling, right? And this is what brought it up for me was I've seen Ben Hart pull and do well, right? It looked like an athlete. But sometimes you might need to gain a yard depth, right? You pull out and you're down the line of scrimmage, but then you kind of belly out, right? You might belly out a yard to kind of get an angle to see what you've got coming up through that hole.
Yeah.
But I saw him kind of tiptoeing through there, and but I've seen him pull. I'm not just pointing him out. I've seen him pull, and I've seen him pull well and look like an athlete. But yeah, that's kind of the thing is, hey, you might have to do it the next time, but always go find somebody and find somebody with some bad intentions, right? You might want to blow out their knee. You never know, right?
Exactly.
I don't know. You might want their backup to come in. Well, it's true, Verse.
John says you can't block below the waist outside of the tackle box. So from tackle to tackle, cutting and everything is legal, but outside the tackle box, you can't.
Okay.
Hey,
well, that makes sense. Yeah, you can do that then. Yeah.
Used to be a great equalizer, man. It was awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. And always kind of like what you referred to, Verse, was if your man's not there, go find somebody with some bad intentions.
Yeah.
And that's okay, but you got to rep it, right? You got to rep it, and you got to rep it, and you got to rep it. I was notorious for whenever I was young, not being good at that, and kind of tiptoeing through and trying to sift through and find my guy. And as you get older and get more confidence in what you're doing, and feel like you have the confidence of your coach, then it's like, all right, well, my guy that I left back there, I don't know what he's doing, but I'm going to go find somebody.
Hey, Amon, you might want to make that guy miss.
Yeah, right. And a lot of it was what I was saying earlier too. You don't always have to block somebody, right? If you can just redirect them,
yeah,
make them come behind you versus over the top of you, and that's enough. If your running back's hitting the hole the way they should, not dance around in the back, if they make that one cut burst, and yeah, if your guy goes behind you, that's just fine, as long as it's not over the top.
Yeah.
But the thing is you got to know what plays they are and where you're at on whether you're play call side or whether you're backside, those kind of things. So, yeah,
process all that in milliseconds.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey,
and you know as well as I do, when you're on the backside, right? Yeah. You're on the backside. You're like, oh, I gotta play off, right? I gotta play off. I can kind of dog it, and just as long as I get to my guy, and if he goes behind me versus over the top, my job's done.
Yep.
Right now, I got another 30 seconds of rest.
I redirected him.
I redirected him. That's all I needed to do. I got a 2. I got a 2 on my scorecard. Right.
Those 1s and 2s will be a part of our life forever. I talked about this earlier, Aaron, and the offensive line, to me, they don't, and this is what you were very good at. You were built low to the ground. You had a good wide base. You chucked sides of beef in the summer, sliding down rails in Wichita Falls, Texas. But how did you feel, or did you feel anything benefited you on gaining that short range power, like the explosion out of your stance into a defender to jolt their head? It seems we get jolted a lot. We catch and we get whipped back, and you were the one that was delivering that blow. Do you think there was anything in your life that you could pinpoint that to, you learned how to really explode into a block?
Well, first off, we crowded the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Right. You kind of take a look, and it's all across football. We wanted to be, well, you remember, we got, if it's first off, our spacing of our feet, right, on width, right? You remember that, right? If it's a inside zone play, we got really wide splits so we could open up the hole, if you will.
Yeah.
We
We had
would
an
tighten our
action
splits
too.
in, but not only the width, right? But what I'm talking about is we were always up closer to the ball, right? Guards
Mhm.
and tackles. You take a look at them now. Now it's kind of a V,
Yeah.
right? Get everybody close, right? Am I doing that right?
Yeah, you're good.
We're a V. Yeah, you see me?
You're good. You're
Um,
killing it.
but the thing is okay. Uh, so we were closer, and this is another thing that drives me crazy, right? They were talking about, the defense is yelling out our cadence or our call or whatever. We're jumping off sides. Don't even start with me on that. I'm yelling at the TV. Tanya thinks I'm crazy. Um, but we know the snap count, right? We know the snap count, and that's all. Hold your water. I had to explain to Tanya 3 weeks ago what hold your water means, right? Just hold your damn water. That's all
Yeah.
you got to do. Don't jump off sides.
No,
And
yeah.
so crowd the line of scrimmage. You know the snap count, and then as soon as the ball snapped, right? For me, it was I wanted to be the first to the punch. Everybody did, right? Because if you were first to the punch, you usually won.
Mhm.
And so the hand that wasn't on the ground, you're off. If my right hand was on the ground, my left hand's here. I'm right away. I'm fast as I can, and then my hand that was on the ground, I'm coming up as fast as I can, and that's is boom boom. That's what I want. And you remember that's what we do on the sleds on that small sled. You sit there and you explode, and that's the thing you do. It's fast, fast. Get your hands on them, and then get your hips and ass and legs into it and go. It's just fast. That's the only thing is you want to beat them to the punch because if you beat them to the punch, you're going to win a majority of the time.
And so it's little things we never thought about. Like Jennifer and Young did a great job of teaching us how to load a stance, right? To have your stance built so when you went, there was no hesitation, there was no backward motion, everything was forward, and you were in straight attack mode from the jump. Like it's
Absolutely.
mindset, mentality, it's confidence in self, like knowing, listen, man, we've seen every rep that possibly known to man in practice on
And
Tuesday and
and
Wednesday.
that's one thing I didn't. I'm glad you brought that up too, because not only your hands, right, and being first to the punch, but it's exactly what you talked about. Then your feet followed, and your feet couldn't fail you because then your feet were more important than your hands after you got your hands on them, right? Um, because you couldn't cross over, right? Everything was
No,
direct upfield. Um, you needed to be wide, but not too wide. You couldn't be, you know,
narrow.
doing this. You had to have a nice stance, and yeah. So you put all that into combo, but that's what we would rep. You rep it and rep it and rep it. I'm 48 years old. I could still do my, you know, my reach and my second step up into the crotch of the player.
Rip reach,
Um,
overtake,
rip
baby.
reach, pull overtake, all of
Over
that kind of
this
stuff.
day.
Just because it's just drilled into you. So
Dude, if
yeah,
someone blew a whistle and said, "All right, rip, reach, pull, overtake," we just stand
yeah,
next to each other, and be like, "All right, let's do this."
yeah. And then there's also and this isn't against these guys by any means, but it's just a will, because I think they do. I'm kind of excited to see them. They're winning ugly. They're winning really ugly, and that's kind of fun to see, man. If you're gonna, it's the only way they can win right now. But
And
but
that's
it's a will. It's a will to not want to lose, not want to lose your little battle. And
how many times have we watched that game that happened this weekend and it falls apart in the end?
right,
They
absolutely,
bad things happen, and then they get the ball back, and then they bust one. And I was like,
right.
"Okay, all right, you get it. You fumble 5 fucking times. 5.
They
5
carrying footballs around. Tanya mentioned something. She goes, "Are you going on mats?" I said, "Yeah, I'm about to hang on there." And she goes, "Well, you can't talk about them holding footballs around the campus," because I had to explain that to her yesterday.
Yeah, I know I said they should.
Yeah, so I told her, I said, "Man, back even in high school, I said if you fumbled, you carried a football around campus." I said, "We even did it in college." And she goes, "Seriously?" I said, "Oh yeah." And then if they saw another football player or somebody, you always tried to strip it out, right? Yeah,
So,
I said I wonder if the athletic department has enough footballs.
oh God, it's scary how we think. Like I said the same thing. I was like, we got more than enough footballs. Give anybody that could ever carry a football one, make character practice, make character class.
Yeah,
Tell somebody like, hey, you come back with a football, you get a football out, you get video, so you get a football out. We'll give you $100. We'll give you tickets to the skybox.
yeah, yeah. It's amazing how we're winning. And a credit to the staff and credit to the players, right? Um, because we lose that last year,
Yeah,
right? We
sure.
we lose it the year before, and I tell you what, the can you imagine being the coaches? You know, they're sitting in meetings right now, going, "What in the hell did we just do yesterday?" Right? How do we win this? And you know they're excited and they're proud of their players, right? They're proud of their players for playing hard and digging out a win. And then they're like, "You got to be kidding me!" Now, all right, well, let's go game plan this with
You can cuss.
six
You don't
second stringers.
fight it.
What's that?
You can cuss. You don't have to fight it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
So it's
we're on the internet. You can do whatever you want. No,
yeah.
you dead set. Though. I mean, the kickoff. Like you got to be sitting like, holy shit, we fumbled the kickoff. Like, what happened? But they're resilient, man. They there was no panic button. It's like, well, shit, that's what it is. Tony White deserves a big ass raise. Give him every title in that assistant, head coach, off defensive coordinator, athletic. He's the assistant to everything, and then give him
What are you most impressed with
the mental
on
side of
the defensive side?
that. He's taken the same parts and he's made it cohesive, and that they're really playing with 3 to 4 defensive linemen.
Right.
Like, can you imagine when they get like 6, 8 defensive linemen? They can rotate guys a lot.
So I think probably the thing I'm most impressed with on his side of the ball is the number of players that he's playing.
Yeah,
That he's got ready to play.
yeah.
You know what? That's crazy to me. What was that? He played what 22, 24 guys one game.
Mm-hmm.
It was that's crazy to me.
But the crazy part of that is there's no drop off.
No,
Like, look at
no.
what happened on the offensive line, and everybody's in a panic. Oh my God, they got to put in different guys. What's going to happen? Who do we do? Who goes in? Do they know what they're doing? Blah, blah. If you're building it right and you're preparing it correctly, somebody gets hurt, the next guy goes in, you don't even know the difference.
Right. So here's where I was. Well, and I told you this at Pisons there at the beginning of the year, right? My two big things. My two big things going into the year are number one, will Tony White's 3-3-5 work,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I was concerned a little bit about that with you're going to be in the Big Ten where you're going to run the ball, those kind of things. Is it going to be able to
Hold up.
sustain a Big Ten season with all the physicality? Um, and then my next thing was the line, and it wasn't just the offensive line, which was a concern, and as it has been, but also the defensive line of just exactly what you said. Right, we got three guys. We got three. There we go, three guys, and the backups there have well. First off, our starters have played well on the offensive line or defensive line. I think they've done, and
Good save there.
not only have they played well, Burrs, but I think they've gotten better throughout the year,
Mm-hmm.
right?
I'm
You
not,
know, it's I think we've seen over the past several years of usually our first 3-4 games are the peak of what we've seen for our D line, and then it's just kind of gone downhill, throughout the year, or sustained. But these guys have gotten better, and it's fun to watch, man. It's really fun to watch, and even the backups. And so then I think I was in your place. I don't know what the second or third week. Then I was concerned about Ties and Nash's backups,
yep.
just because they were smaller and not a lot of experience. And then those guys have played well. So my first two concerns going into the season have been all erased. I really like this defense, man, and I like the way they attack and damn, they kind of remind me of what black shirts should be, right? They get off and they kind of talk a little trash and they have
Yep.
fun with each other, and it looks fun to play on that defense.
They will lead. Okay, as this transition has happened, they needed one thing they can hang their hat on. And the tradition that the new Nebraska can be built on is how this defense plays.
Yep.
Because it can keep them in games. It can allow them to err on the offensive side, which they do quite a bit. And that's okay because it's a resilient group. They have short-term memories. They're just like, hey man, you put us in a bad spot, don't sweat it. We'll get a sack. The offense gets a penalty. We've got them out of field goal range where they can't even get a field goal now. So it's cool to see it built on that because that group, how they play together, is awesome. It's almost mind-boggling to me because when they got the defensive parts, the defense wasn't something the year before that everybody's like, oh, sweet, this defense is going to be good again next year because it's all these guys coming back. You had guys that had played, but you had guys that had given up a lot of points. And to
Right.
watch them play so sound all the time, it's really, really, I can't say it enough. Tony White, if he is not the assistant coach of the year, that award should just be given away. It's a stupid award if he doesn't get it.
He's doing well.
Oh,
Let's back up the loading truck. Let's put him on NIL.
yeah.
Right.
Yes.
Here's a prime example. Let's talk about that. Yeah, let's talk about that NIL a minute, right? All right, so you got Sims, right, who's our NIL guy
Yep.
at QB, and sit in the bench, and comes in, fumbles the ball, right, does all that. Man, what? I'm not going to say it divides the locker room. I don't want to start any of that, but there's got to be some of that around college football of looking, man, this guy's making $500,000 and I'm pulling in 75G. And I'm the starter, right? I mean, there's got to be some of that, don't you think?
I think if the coaching staff controls the message, and you can always like, hey, we'll take care of you. Don't sweat it, because the way those things are run now, they're all going to come in house. It's just a matter of time before they dictate, hey, you can have fundraising arms to these things, but as far as the distribution, that's got to come in house. So you have somebody raise the money, they give it to the university, they get it, write it off, all that crap, and then the university distributes it. And then I think you can have that will create a whole another position for somebody because you can't have the coach being like, hey, this, that, the other. I can't be talking to you about your NIL money. I got other shit to worry about. Go talk to them about it. Here's our plan for it. We'll lay this all out. You're in this tier, this tier, this tier. If you want more cake, you got to get up on these first and second teams. Is how I
Yeah,
think.
if they tear it out, I'm good with that.
Yeah.
I'm good with that because that'd be, I
We
don't
suck
know,
at it
man.
right now too. Like we are not good at it. We are behind on the NIL stuff.
Well, apparently we were going to lead the charge of NIL across the country when it first came out. I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't really like. I don't like anything about it. But I know we need it. That's the whole thing, right? It's kind of one of those things where you don't like it, but it's here, so you got to embrace it and you got to figure out how to use it.
Yeah, true. It's got to be a
So
weapon. And we got to get to where we're not reactionary. Like we got to get
I don't know.
proactive.
You think that Husker semi was loaded full of cash up there in Logan, Iowa, or wherever it was? Needed to be,
What did you
right?
do?
I mean,
You shit yourself that bitch. You drove down to Wichita Falls. Like, what are you doing here?
well,
We
what
got
is that?
we got a big semi full of money for you. Okay,
Yeah, that's crazy. That's
I'm
crazy,
coming
Timmy.
anyway. But thanks.
Hey, I gotta say, what a move! What a move, right?
Yeah,
I mean, who thought of that?
they're pretty. Listen,
I
when we
I
good,
like it. I like every single bit of it.
but we got to get back to that, Aaron. When we were great, we were ahead of everybody. Had a nutritionist before everybody. Had training that nobody was doing. Had all these things that were happening, and pigs get fat, hogs get slaughtered. Right? We got lazy. We did as a university as a whole, an athletic department, a football department. We got lazy, and now we're paying the price for
So
it.
it goes back
Back out
to
ahead of everything.
So it goes back to, remember Jack Pierce, right? That's
Yeah,
his soul.
the
All
man.
right. So he always told that when he went on a recruiting trip with Coach Devaney, he said we went to, I can't remember if it was St. Paul or somewhere just north of Grand Island, and they were going to go recruit a kid out of there. And he said, here I am. I'm just a young buck trying to learn my way. And all right, we're going to go get this kid. He said we get all the way up there. I'm going to call it St. Paul. And he said we stop at the gas station. We talk about this kid. He goes, we go to the bank. We talk about this kid. Meet everybody, sign autographs, and everybody. Coach Devaney's in town. Coach Devaney's in town. We go to the grocery store. Coach Devaney meets and talks with everybody there about this kid. And he said, we do all this. We go to every damn business in town, and then we leave. And he goes, we never once saw the kid. And he goes, what we're doing, we're recruiting the town because
Yep.
everybody's going to be talking about, man, I saw Coach Devaney. He was here to see Matt Vrzal.
Bob Devaney talked to me.
Yep.
Devaney show.
And so next thing you know, all the whole damn community's recruiting the kid to come in. And then he said it was like 2 weeks later. Then they went to the school and they talked to the kid. But they let that get all around the community and get the excitement going. And the kid had a little bit of pressure to, yeah, I probably should go to Nebraska, right? I don't want to let down my town.
100%.
Yeah. So
Bob Devaney was playing chess while everybody was playing checkers for a long time.
absolutely, man. Could you imagine if Coach Rowe was sitting there messing around Missouri Valley and Denison, Iowa, and all those, just kind of just walking around, just saying, "Hey, nice to meet you. Here
Yeah,
to get some gas and a donut."
you get out of those towns. Yeah, I got an easy trip for you. You hit
Yeah.
highway up to Albion and Stanton. They got two of them, 6'7", 260, and 6'6", and I know we're not that tall, but 6'6", 250. And you got two athletes playing 8-man and 11-man football up there, and they got sweet feet and they can move.
They got a Kasky boy up there.
No, his kid was a
Or
quarterback. Ren Brown is his name, and then Trent Patzel is the other one.
who was our lineman from Stanton?
Yaski.
Was it Brady?
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
Brady's son played quarterback. Brady's son honestly could go the Lane Johnson route, and he could play quarterback in high school. He could play tight end for a little bit in college, and he could be a tackle by the end of it.
Oh,
That
really?
kid, wicked athletic. Wicked.
Yeah, Kasky was an athletic guy too. Yeah.
Yaski's kid plays at Illinois.
That's what you were telling me.
Fuck,
Yeah. He was out whenever we played him
I know.
because I was looking for him.
Yeah, he was hurt. Well, T-Bone, I
So,
appreciate you coming on, buddy.
yep,
We'll get on a little earlier next time because I
I
got to go to
will,
the
brother.
football meeting because round 2 of
I
the play.
appreciate it, man.
Yeah, buddy.
You
Thanks.
wrap up your show. We'll talk to you later. Yeah.
Thanks, brother. Love you.
All right. Love you too. See ya.
Bye-bye. Aaron Taylor, everybody. That will wrap up the show for this week. I will continue to haze my friends and make them come on the show. Thank you guys for all participating in Husker Hangover. I am now late for meetings, so Terman will probably be a little anxious when I get over there. But we will be back next week. Hey, Dylan. We'll be back on next week. I'll continue to harass people to come on the show. And thank you guys so much for listening. We are 5-3. One more for bowl eligibility, which is all our only goal was. Anything other than that is gravy on top. So I appreciate you guys listening. As always, go Big Red. And thank you for tuning in to Husker Hangover. I'm Matt Vrzal. We gone.